with Walter. I'm Walter's mom. I met Walter on Facebook, and I have no idea what algorithm I got on Facebook that makes me see every sad dog, every dog that needs a home, every dog that's been injured comes through my Facebook feed. And I think that the way that I get through, I'm like everyone else, oh, that's so sad, oh, I hope that one finds a home, and I keep scrolling. And I think what helps me keep scrolling is that I'm a veterinarian. This is my 20th year of being a veterinarian. To be a veterinarian, we thankfully experience triumphs, a lot of triumphs every day, but you feel sadness. Our job is filled with sadness, and to be able to practice as a veterinarian, you have to have a little bit of a shield around your heart. You have to have a little bit of a wall, otherwise you can't practice because you see sadness. And that shield is what gets me through that scrolling to not get every single dog. And I swear the other thing about being a veterinarian, and I know that this sounds crazy, but I promise that it's true. If you take a second to look at a dog and listen to it, I swear they can talk to you. You don't have to be a veterinarian to do that, and I know it sounds crazy, but if I stop and listen to my patients, they actually talk to me. And when I was scrolling through Facebook, and this is the power of sharing posts, by the way, is someone shared Walter's video. And I swear that something chipped away at that wall and he spoke to me. I saw a little sad, scared puppy with a giant wound on his head, and he was wagging his tail really carefully and quietly, and he was scared in the video. And what he was saying is, if you don't hurt me, I just need a little bit of help. That's what I heard. That's what I heard when I listened to Walter on the video. And my sweet husband, who is so patient, and I was like, Trisha, please keep scrolling. We can't take every dog. I sent him this video, and he said, you know what, yeah, you gotta help that one. So my intention was, I had never fostered before in my life. I've worked with animals my entire life, but I'd never actually fostered before. But I contacted the Street Dog Project with the intention of just helping donate my services and close his wound. Yeah, right. We'll see where that went. But at any rate, I went to get Walter. This is Walter on his way home, who is still a scared, sweet little puppy. When I looked at Walter in the shelter, I saw the way that he stood, and I knew that the wound on his head was the least of his problems. I knew that there was a lot more to the story as far as Walter goes. So I took him to my clinic, and I x-rayed him, and I realized what the real story was. He looked like to be about maybe 6 months old, and I took an x-ray of him, and his pelvis was broken in 3 places, and his femur was crushed, making his left hip pretty useless. But all that being said, that's not what made me so sad when I saw his x-ray. This is what broke my heart when I saw his x-ray, is that his pelvis had actually healed. It healed crooked, but it healed. And I know that it takes at least 3 months. It takes at least 3 months for your bones to heal back together. So if you do the math, Walter, who was only approaching 6 months, had spent half of his life, at least half of his life, alone on the street, afraid and in pain by himself. At least half of his life had been spent in sadness and fear and agony and pain. That's what upset me. And again, that wall keeps getting broken down. So at that point, when I stood there looking at him by the x-ray table, I made a commitment to this dog. I made a commitment that I know I could never truly keep him from ever feeling pain again in his life. I can't guarantee he'll never feel that, but I can guarantee him this: he will never experience pain alone, ever again, ever. my husband came home from work and he said, all those in favor of keeping Walter forever, raise your hand. And we did. So we made a commitment to Walter to change his life. And that's when I approached the Street Dog Project. This is Walter 2 hours after having been home. Look how forgiving and sweet he is. 2 hours after being home from the shelter. So the Street Dog Project, they don't even ask the question. I was so worried when I said, here's his list of problems. Never mind, he's been attacked by multiple dogs. He has a skin infection. He had the list. I was really worried about what they would say. And all they said to me is, how can we help? We will help. And through donations from people like yourselves and others on Facebook, and our own donations, again, Walter deserves that commitment. I found the best orthopedic surgeon in DFW, and we proceeded with a surgery that helped fix his hip so that he never feels pain again. And Walter proceeded to heal like a machine with vengeance. Here he is in his physical therapy going, Mom, if you stand right there, I will do anything. I will do anything. Walter never leaves, he never lets me out of his sight. But you know, the funny thing is, and now I know how my clients feel when I say, okay, your dog is injured, he needs to be confined for 4 to 6 weeks with no exercise. And they always look at me like, really? And I couldn't get why that was such a problem. Now I know, because there's no such thing as confining a dog like Walter for 4 to 6 weeks. This is his best friend, Owen, who weighs 115 pounds. Walter started to heal. He chases butterflies. We live on a 65-acre Clydesdale farm. We raise Clydesdales. And Walter has explored every inch of that in his confinement phase. Yeah. Walter now lives life to its fullest. He is his best self each and every day. He comes with me to ride my horses. And he, like I said, he never lets me out of his sight. But you know, the funny thing about Walter is he feels better now. And suddenly he says, I'm a puppy. Hear me roar. He is now a puppy, and I tell you, he is naughty. He is naughty, and he's making up for lost time. He was invited to come tonight, but I'll tell you, we couldn't bring him because he would burn the place down. He is so bad. He takes every bit of patience that we have. He goes through multiple beds, and he's proud of it. He has great skill and determination in his destruction and making a poor Raggedy Ann. That was 20 seconds. She has a terrible bald spot, that Raggedy Ann. And he's not sorry. He's not sorry at all. Because Walter is a puppy, and it's one of those things where we have to dig deep and say, he's making up for lost time. He deserves the puppyhood that he never had. As I said, we've made our commitment, and Walter has a home forever. He has a permanent address, and we are proud to be his parents. What I'd like to do is thank the Street Dog Project so much. I can't thank them enough, because they were so quick to be there and to be of the opinion of how can we help and what can we do. And it's very easy to keep scrolling on Facebook. And I get that we don't all have the ability to take in every single dog, but what can we do? What we can do is, first of all, we have to live our lives with compassion and with patience, and also with generosity. And so I would encourage everyone to, if you can't foster, at least do things like share these posts, because that's how I would have never found Walter had it not been for a shared post. And also be generous, because it was so wonderful how quick this organization was to help, and they continue to help. Their numbers, you know, again, being a veterinarian and having worked with foster organizations before and rescue organizations, the numbers of this particular organization and how many animals they have helped in a short period of time, I have never heard of in 20 years. They're efficient. In the short time that I have been here this evening, my daughter has already texted us saying Walter has eaten binoculars and part of my senior photos. However, he's living his best life, and we love him anyway. And I thank you all very much for having me tonight. And if anyone wants to visit Walter, he'll be doing something really awful and naughty, but we love him. He gives way more kisses than he does naughty things, so we wouldn't trade him for anything else. I appreciate it.